Your next reading is currency and exchange rates, end of chapter questions. Question number 1. An exchange rate is most commonly quoted in real terms. Well, it can be in nominal terms, so exchange rate can be in real and nominal. Mostly it is quoted in nominal terms, so this is not correct. Exchange rate is the price of one currency in terms of another. That is correct. That is in fact the definition of exchange rate. And exchange rate between two currencies ensure they are fully convertible. There is no such assurance, so that makes B to be the correct option. Next, a decrease in real exchange rate quoted in terms of domestic currency per unit of foreign currency is most likely to be associated with an increase in which of the following? Okay, first of all, we know the real exchange rate, that is domestic currency per foreign currency, is equal to spot domestic per foreign currency times the foreign price level upon the domestic price level, right? That's the formula we know. Now, a decrease in real exchange rate would occur when the denominator here, that is the domestic price level, if the domestic price level increases, a larger denominator will reduce this fraction and overall the real exchange rate will fall. So that makes B to be the correct option. Next, in order to minimize the foreign exchange exposure on a euro denominated receivable, you have a euro denominated receivable due from a German company in 100 days, a British company would most likely initiate a forward contract so to protect against any adverse change in the exchange rate in euro. So basically it will sell euros for buying pounds in the future. So that makes B to be the correct option. Next, which of the following counterparties is most likely to be considered a sell-side foreign exchange market participant? A large corporation that borrows in foreign currency, so it's from the buy side. Our sovereign wealth fund that influences cross-border capital flows, this is again also from the buy side. A multinational bank that trades foreign exchange with its diverse client base, yes, this is from the sell side. The sell side generally consists of large banks that sell foreign exchange to their clients, to the buy side clients. So these banks act as market makers, quoting exchange rates at which they will buy, which is also called the bid price, or the price at which they will sell. This is called the offer price. So that makes C to be the correct option. Next, okay, what will be the effect on a direct exchange rate quote if the domestic currency appreciates? Well, let's take some numbers to get the answer. Let us say the current exchange rate, direct exchange rate, is 160 rupees per US dollar. So this is the price currency, this is the base currency. So 160 PKR can be obtained by selling 1 US dollar. Now let's say if the domestic currency, this is my domestic currency, and if it appreciates, which means now $1 will get me lesser. Let's say now $1 gets you PKR 150, right? So first $1 was 160. Now the domestic currency appreciates. Now I get 150 rupees for $1. What does it tell me? Now PKR per dollar has fallen from 160 per dollar to 150 per dollar. So which means in direct exchange rate, if the domestic currency appreciates, the effect on exchange rate would be decreased from 160 to 150 per dollar. So that makes B to be the correct option. Next. All right. An executive from Switzerland checked into a hotel room in Spain and was told by the hotel manager that €1 will buy him 1.2983 CHF, that is Swiss francs, right? From the executive's perspective, an indirect exchange rate quote would be, okay, for him, The foreign currency is euro, and his domestic currency is, of course, Swiss francs. And we have been told that 1 euro is equal to 1.2983. Now, listen to me very carefully. When we say direct exchange rate means the domestic per foreign, and in indirect, it's foreign per domestic, right? So right now what we have been given is the direct exchange rate, that is 1.2983 CHF, that is 1.298 Swiss francs per euro, right? In indirect, it would be totally opposite to it. So 1 euro is obtained by giving 1.298 Swiss francs. And if you simplify this, this will give you 0.7702 euros per Swiss francs CHF. Right, so that makes A to be the correct option. 0.7702 euros per Swiss franc, that's A. Next, over the past month, the Swiss franc has depreciated 12% against pound sterling. How much has the pound sterling appreciated against Swiss francs? Well, this can be done this way. You simply write 1 upon 1 minus depreciation, means you will reduce 12%. Had there been appreciation, would have added 12%. So it's going to be 1 over 1 minus 12%, that is 0.12. And then whatever the result you get, deduct it from 1, and you will get straightforward. Your answer is going to be, when you simplify this part, it will give you 1.136 less 1, that is 13.6%. So what we can say, 12% depreciation in Swiss francs would result in 13.6% appreciation in pound sterling. So that's more than 12%. That makes C to be the correct option. An exchange rate between two currencies has increased to 1.45 from some earlier number if the base currency has appreciated by 8% against the price currency. The initial exchange rate between the two currencies was closest to. So the quickest way to do a question like this is just take base currency versus the price currency. You will never make a mistake if you use this approach. Let's just talk about base currency being dollar and price currency being euros, right? So originally the base currency $1 got you X euros, and now the new exchange rate is that the base currency has appreciated by 8%, which means now it's 1.08, and this gets you 1.45 euros. What was the original price currency value with regard to $1? So you simply make a cross. X times 1.08, that is 1.08x is equal to 1.45, making x the subject of the equation, 1.45 over 1.08, and that will give you 1.3426 euros per dollar. Just assume number, so nonetheless we got the answer. It is B. Next, question number 9. The following information relates to question number 9 and 10. The dealer provides the following quotes: Chinese yuan per Hong Kong dollar 0.0422, Chinese yuan per South African rents 0.9149, and Chinese yuan per Swedish krona 1.0218. Okay. Now the spot rate of South African rand per Hong Kong dollar cross rate is closest to. Well, the easiest way to do it, just identify what the desired numerator and the desired denominator, and then just play around with these fractions. I need a South African rand in the numerator, so this is the one. What I do, if I write it as South African rand per CNY, which means I will be using 1 upon 0.9149, right? And if I need Hong Kong HKD, Hong Kong dollar, so I would take the one that involves Chinese yuan, this one. So it's going to be HKD per Chinese yuan. It's going to be 1 over 0.8422. There are many ways of doing it. Whichever way you find comfortable with, you can do it. So I'm going to use this as a numerator, 1 over 0.9149 upon 1 over 0.8422. As you can see, these will be cancelled. Also, when you simplify these, it will give you, basically the fraction would be 0.8422 upon 0.9149, and when you will simplify this, you should get 0.92053. So this is the cross rate, 0.92053 South African rand per 1 Hong Kong dollar. So that makes A to be the correct option. Then another dealer is quoting the South African rand per Swiss krona at 1.1210. The arbitrage profit that can be earned is closest to. First of all, let us see the cross rate. What we get is, through the numbers given, we'll do the same thing. ZAR per Chinese yuan, and then Swedish krona. Right. So what you will do, 1 over 0.9149 over 1 over 1.0218. So if you simplify this, it will be 1.11684. Right. Now, there is an arbitrage opportunity, the difference between the dealer's given rate versus the rate we get. So the differential is 1.1210 less 1.11684. So this would give you the difference of 0.00416. Right. So per million, multiply this with 1 million. What you get is 4160 South African rand per 1 million of Swedish krona. Right. So it's going to be then 416, which is approximately 4200 South African rand per 1 million of Swedish krona. So that makes C to be the correct option. Next, question number 11. A Brazilian real per Mexican peso spot rate is listed by a dealer at 0.1378. The 6 months forward rate is 0.14193. The 6 months forward points are closest to. Let us first see the difference between these two. It is 0.14193 the spot versus 6 months forward 0.1378. The difference is a positive 0.00413. So in order to give it in the basis point, multiply it with 10,000. What you get is 413 basis points. So that makes a positive one, 41.3. So that's A. B is the right answer. Next. A 3 months forward exchange rate of Canadian dollar per US dollar is listed by the dealer at 1.0123. Let us write this down. Canadian dollar, the price currency per base currency, is equal to 1.0123 Canadian dollar per 1 US dollar. Right. The dealer also quotes a 3 month forward points as a percentage at 6.8%. So we need to find out the Canadian US dollar spot rate. That's the forward rate. We need to find the spot rates. We know the formula. Spot rate is equal to 1 plus forward points in percentage is equal to forward rate. Simple as that. So since we need to find the spot rate is equal to 1 plus 6.8% converted into decimal will be upon 100 is equal to 1.0123. Spot rate, once this is solved, it will give you 1.068 is equal to 1.0123, which means spot rate is equal to 1.0123 upon 1.068. And if you simplify this, you should get 0.9478. That perfectly matches with your option A, and A is your right answer. Then, if the base currency in a forward exchange rate rate quote is trading at a forward discount, which of the following statement is most accurate? Well, the base currency is trading at a forward discount means that 1 unit of base currency costs less for forward delivery than for the spot delivery. That means that the forward exchange rate is less than the spot exchange rate. So the forward points expressed either as an absolute number of points or as a percentage will be negative. That makes B to be the correct option. A forward premium indicates what? Let us first write down the formula. Forward upon spot is equal to 1 plus interest rate in the price currency over 1 plus interest rate in the base currency. Right. Now, a forward premium indicates that an expected increase in the demand for the base currency. No, this is not correct. Not any increase in demand. Basically, forward premium is that if the currency is in forward premium, so F upon S would be greater than 1. Or in other words, a forward rate is greater than the spot, which means that your numerator here should be larger than the denominator, which means your interest rate in the price currency should be greater than the interest rate in the base currency, right? So the interest rate is higher in price currency than the base currency, so that makes C to be the correct option. All right, next. The Japanese yen per Australian dollar spot exchange rate is 82.42. The Japanese yen interest rate is 0.15% and the Australian interest rates are 4.95. If the interest rates are quoted on the basis of 360 day a year, the 90 days forward point in Japanese per Australian dollar would be closest to. We know what to do. What we have are Japanese yen per Australian dollar. It's 82.42 Japanese yen per Australian dollar, right? Use the formula we just reused in the previous slide. Forward upon spot is equal to 1 plus interest rate in the price currency, or 1 plus interest rate in the base currency. Now let us first determine these. Don't forget, we already have the spot, that is 82.42. We need to find the forward, and let us first find interest rate in the price currency. Well, it is 0.15% on annual basis. Let us convert into the 90 days, dividing it with 360 multiplied with 90. So what you get is 1 plus this. The simplification of this would give you 0.0375%. So 0.0375. Then the interest rate in the base currency, it's 4.95, right? 4.95% upon 360 multiplied by 90. Then it's going to be 1.2375%. Now, if you simplify this part of the equation, it should give you 0.988146 forward per spot. If you make forward as the subject of this equation, you should get F is equal to 82.42 multiplied by 0.9881466. And if you do, what you get is 81.443. Alright, that's the first step. Then we have to calculate the 90 days forward point. So for that you need to just calculate the difference between this versus this. If you do 81.443 versus 82.42, the difference would be negative. It's going to be 81, that's the forward, less spot. It's going to be negative 0.977, and since it's to be given in basis point, multiplying with 100 will give you negative 97.7. That gives you B to be the correct option. Next, which of the following is not a condition of an ideal currency regime? Fully convertible currencies, this is a condition of an ideal currency regime. Fully independent monetary policy, this is a condition of an ideal currency regime. But independently floating exchange rates, this would cause uncertainty. Uncertainty with regard to prices of goods and services, as well as real and financial assets. Right? So to eliminate this currency related uncertainty, an ideal regime would be a fixed exchange rate among all currencies. So this is not correct. This is not a condition of ideal currency regime. Next, question number 17. In practice, both fixed parity regime and target zone regime allow the exchange rate to float within a band around the parity level. Let's say this is dollar PKR per dollar, and the currency somewhere floats around this upper and maximum and the lower limit. The most likely rationale for the band is that the band allows the monetary authority to exercise more discretion in monetary policy. Right? This band will give you more discretion. Right? That makes C to be the correct option. A fixed exchange rate regime in which the monetary authority is legally required to hold foreign exchange reserves backing 100% of its domestic currency issuance is best described as dollarization. Dollarization is a condition where dollar is used in addition or sometimes instead of the domestic currency. Incorrect. A currency board. Yes, a currency board is the monetary authority that is legally required to exchange domestic currency for a specified foreign currency at a fixed exchange rate. So it cannot issue domestic currency without receiving foreign currency in exchange, and it must hold that foreign currency as 100% reserve against the domestic currencies issued. So which means the country's monetary base is fully backed by the foreign exchange reserves. That is the bank reserve plus notes and coins in circulation. That makes B to be the correct option. Why not C? A monetary union. A monetary union basically is a currency union whereby under an agreement countries share the same currency. This is not what we're looking for. That makes B to be the correct option. A country with a trade deficit will most likely, well, the trade deficit has to be funded through capital account surplus, and this capital account surplus would come either by borrowing from foreigners or selling assets to the foreigners, right? So it has to be offset by capital account surplus through loans from foreigners or by selling your assets to foreigners or by doing both. That makes A to be the correct option. A large industrialized country has recently devalued its currency in an attempt to correct a persistent trade deficit. Which of the following domestic industries is most likely to benefit from the devaluation? That industry will benefit that has price elasticity of demand greater than 1. So luxury cars expected to have PED greater than 1. Branded prescription drugs, they have PED less than 1. And restaurants and live entertainment venues, PED is less than 1. Which means, in this case where the price elasticity of demand is greater than 1, any decrease in price would result in higher quantity demanded, so it will offset the trade deficit, so the trade deficit would reduce. So that makes A to be the correct option. Next, a country with a persistent trade surplus is being pressured to let its currency appreciate. Which of the following best describes the adjustment that must occur if the currency appreciation is to be effective in reducing the trade surplus? Well, the trade surplus cannot decline unless the capital account deficit also declines. So what should happen? The foreigners must buy more assets, right? Which means there should be more capital flows that should shift towards the domestic market. So that makes C to be the correct option.